Hello and welcome to the AI Affairs podcast. Every single large language model out there, I don't care if you're running GPT-4, Claude, or Gemini, no matter how polished or powerful it sounds, it has blind spots.
It has biases.
Exactly. And when we stop using these for, creative writing and start using them to judge information or make critical business decisions, that single point of failure becomes a massive liability.
A huge one.
So this deep dive is all about a concept that's really sweeping the AI world right now, the LLM Council. We're going to explore how forcing multiple AIs to collaborate, to debate, and even to, ruthlessly critique each other creates one final, reliable, pressure-tested answer that's just demonstrably better than what a single model can do alone.
That's the whole mission today. We're swapping, you could say, the AI dictator for an AI committee, a deliberative model.
I like that.
But before we get to the solution, we really have to understand why a single LLM judge is just so inconsistent. We'll dig into the research that identifies these subtle but really critical flaws.
The ones that break our trust in them.
Precisely. Then we'll walk you through the four-stage council mechanism, from its surprising origins as a hack project to full enterprise tools. And finally, we'll look at the proof, the academic evidence that shows this collaboration aligns so much better with human judgment.
Okay, let's unpack that core problem then. Inconsistency. There was a big analysis from IBM, right? It showed pretty clearly that none of the current LLM judges are perfect.
Not even close.
Yeah.
So they had to set up a testing framework. The way it works is the judge gets a prompt, which is basically the whole package.
Yeah.
System instructions, the question, and then the different answers it has to choose from.
And the test was to see if it would stay consistent.
Exactly. The researchers would perturb the input, which is a fancy way of saying they'd slightly change things. They might tweak the instructions or, and this is the crucial part, just swap the order of the answers.
So A, B, C becomes B, A, C.
Right. The meaning is identical, but the layout changes. In a perfect world, the judge's final decision should be exactly the same.
But it rarely was.
It rarely was. And, if just shifting a sentence around makes a multi-billion-dollar AI flip its decision, well, that's not a reliable judge.
So what were the biggest biases they found? The ones that really undermine our trust?
Well, the list is pretty eye-opening, mainly because it shows how our AIs are mirroring very human flaws. The first big one is position bias.
Okay.
This is just what it sounds like. Simply swapping the physical order of the candidate responses moving answer A from the first spot to the third can actually change which one the LLM judge prefers.
Wait, hold on. Just because of where it sits on the page?
Just because of where it sits on the page.
That seems to undermine, every single benchmark or leaderboard out there. How often did this actually happen?
It's surprisingly common. And it's a huge problem for fairness, because it means the developer who just happened to list to their model's response first gets an unfair leg up. It's a dangerous variable.
Okay, and what about the second one? You mentioned one that was even more concerning.
Yeah, this one suggests the model just can't be objective about itself. It's called self-enhancement bias.
An AI ego.
That's the perfect way to put it. It's an AI ego. If you ask, say, GPT-4 to generate an answer, and then you use GPT-4 as the judge for a list of answers that includes its own.
It picks its own.
It shows a strong preference for its own work. It recognizes its style, its logic, and it favors it. This is a massive issue because it means the models are just inherently unreliable when you ask them to score their competitors.
So if an AI can't even judge its own output fairly, relying on it for anything high stakes is, it's just folly. We need some kind of external check.
We do.
What's amazing, though, is that the solution didn't come from some massive corporate research lab. It started as a fun Saturday hack.
That's right, by Andrej Karpathy, one of OpenAI's co-founders. He just wanted a better way to look at multiple LLMs side by side, and that little project established this logical four-stage mechanism that's now at the core of all these council frameworks.
Okay, let's walk through those 4 stages, because this is really how the whole collaborative intelligence thing works. Stage 1.
Stage 1, first opinions. The user's query gets sent out simultaneously to multiple different LLMs. Think GPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok, all at once.
And that's key because they all have different training data.
Exactly. Different data, different architectures, different safeguards. So right away, you get a diversity of viewpoints. Each model gives its own independent, standalone response.
So you've got maybe 4 or 5 different takes on your question. That's already better than 1. But stage 2 is where the real collaboration starts.
Right. Stage 2. Review and ranking. Now, each LLM is shown all the other responses, including its own, but, and this is critical, The identities are anonymized.
Ah, so Claude doesn't know it's reading a response from GPT.
Precisely. That anonymity is what kills that self-enhancement bias we were just talking about.
Yeah.
They have to rank each other based purely on the quality of content.
I can see the benefit there, but let me just play devil's advocate for a second.
Right.
By anonymizing them, aren't you losing some context? I mean, wouldn't knowing a response came from a less powerful model be useful information?
That's a fair question, but the research really suggests that forcing the evaluation to be about the argument, not the model's reputation, is a huge net positive. It levels the playing field. And that focus gets even sharper in the next stage.
Stage 3, the debate phase.
Stage 3, critique. This is where they go from being passive rankers to active debaters. They're told to actively criticize and poke holes in each other's arguments.
So not just, I like B better than A.
No, more like, Model A, how would response B fail in this specific scenario? Or Model C, find the logical fallacies in response D. It's a battle test. Bad ideas get filtered out because it forces the models into real critical thinking.
And after all that debate, we get to the final answer.
Stage 4, German synthesis. A designated chairman model, usually whatever model you prefer for its tone or writing style, takes everything. The initial responses, the anonymous rankings, the whole debate transcript.
The whole meeting's minutes.
Pretty much. It reads the entire debate, sees which arguments survive the scrutiny, and then it compiles a single, comprehensive final answer that incorporates the best of everything.
We have to talk about the practical side of this, though. For anyone listening who's in a business setting, running 4 or 5 models at once, that's not cheap.
It's not. You're definitely using more tokens. A council meeting might use about 5 times the tokens of a single query, so, maybe that's 5 to 20 cents for a really complex question.
Which sounds like a lot compared to a fraction of a cent.
It does, but you have to reframe the value. If you're using the council to challenge a major business decision, like launching a new product or signing a big contract, that cost is totally negligible. You're basically paying pennies for an AI board of directors to find the flaws in a decision that could cost you thousands or even millions if you get it wrong.
It completely changes the calculation from what's the cheapest answer to what's the most risk-mitigated answer.
Exactly.
So let's dive into some of those real-world applications where this system of checks and balances is so essential.
Absolutely. The clearest use case is strategic validation for, say, small and mid-sized businesses. The council can challenge those expensive choices, a new hire, a big expansion, before you commit real money. You're weaponizing the different biases of 4 AIs against your own assumptions.
I can also see it being huge for any kind of specialized expert review where precision is everything.
Oh, for sure. We're seeing it in things like automated code review. There's a project out there that uses a council of Claude, ChatGPT, and Gemini to give feedback on code. No single model could give that kind of diverse cross-platform insight.
And the idea of using it for high-stakes document review is really fascinating. You feed a contract to a council, and because that critique is anonymous, the AIs are just ruthless.
They are. They'll point out unfavorable terms or missing clauses without any of the political niceties a human reviewer might have.
And this isn't just for coders anymore, right?
Not at all.
Yeah.
These frameworks are being built into no-code platforms. So a non-technical business owner can ask a complex question like, what's the best SEO strategy for my local business in 2026? And get an answer that has been debated, ranked, and synthesized. It's just far more reliable.
So we've seen the mechanism, we've seen the use cases, but here's the big question. Does this collaborative approach actually produce results that are more aligned with what a human would think? Does it get us closer to human consensus?
The academic validation on this is incredibly strong. The research shows it's especially effective for subjective tasks.
Things like judging creative writing.
Exactly. Creative writing, assessing emotional intelligence, evaluating a complex argument, all these areas where even humans often disagree. One study even used a council of 20 different LLMs just to prove the point.
20!
And the results were clear. The council's rankings were way more in line with human evaluations than any single AI judge. The collaboration just filters out all the noise and the weird outliers.
We're seeing something similar in academic peer review, too, which is an area famously full of human biases.
Absolutely. There were large-scale experiments on economics papers where single LLMs showed very human-like biases. They gave higher ratings to papers from top male authors or from elite universities when they could see that identifying info.
So the single AI just inherits our existing systemic biases.
It can, or it can even amplify them.
Right.
But when they combine multiple LLMs using a process called a reference-guided verdict, the reliability and accuracy shot up. It created a really strong correlation with human assessment. Other new systems, like Review Agent, have been shown to boost actionable insights by almost 7% over the old baselines. Collaboration just yields better results.
You know, that evidence really changes the whole paradigm. Maybe the quest for one single, all-knowing superintelligence is just the wrong goal entirely.
Maybe it is.
What if the real breakthrough is teaching AIs to work together, to debate like a panel of human experts?
And that leads directly into safety and alignment. If you want AI that reflects broad human values, you need a collective process, not one dictated by a handful of developers. This is the idea behind something called collective constitutional AI, or CCAI.
So bringing the council idea up to the alignment level, letting the public help write the AI's constitution.
That's it, exactly. And the early results are so encouraging. A CCAI-trained model showed lower bias across 9 different social dimensions compared to a model trained on principles set only by developers.
And performance was the same on other tasks.
Maintained equivalent performance on math and language. It also handles contentious topics differently. Instead of just giving a simple refusal, it tends to reframe the issue in a more positive or nuanced way. It suggests a more flexible, more aligned response overall.
This deep dive has really laid bare the flaws of the solitary LM judge, those sneaky position and self-enhancement biases especially. But, more importantly, we've explored this really elegant solution, that 4-stage council mechanism.
First opinions, anonymous critique, and then the chairman synthesis.
Yeah, and this whole collaborative approach gives you pressure-tested answers, it helps mitigate high-stakes risk for just a few pennies, and at the end of the day, it aligns dramatically better with broad human judgment.
The future of AI is, I think, fundamentally a future of consensus. It's less about building one all-knowing, solitary mind, and it's much more about perfecting this democratic, collaborative process, teaching AIs how to debate, how to argue, and how to build consensus.
Just like the human experts, they're meant to augment.
Exactly. We're moving toward a deliberative model of AI, and that is a massive breakthrough for reliability.
Thank you for listening, and see you next time on AI Affairs.